Coach, I'll start off by asking, how exhilarating has this year been, and how would you sum up this year? I mean, the totality of everything that's happened.
Yeah, it's funny. I think the word that comes to mind to me has just been a lot of fun. I think our guys have had a good time playing. We've had a good time coaching. It's been, as you said, exhilarating, I think is a good word to use. We've had some challenges that our guys have overcome and met, and some crazy finishes to ball games, and it's been one of those seasons, though, when you look back on it, it's hard not to smile and think about how proud you are of the players and what they've accomplished. And it's been a team that I've really enjoyed coaching. Usually by the end of the year, you start to get a little tired and a little worn out, and you're kind of like, well, I'm going to look forward to the end of all this. And I certainly don't feel that way with this team. I'm sad that we don't get to play more games together, and we got a big one this week, obviously, and some more down the road, hopefully. But yeah, it's kind of one of those years you really don't want it to come to an end. I just enjoy coming to work every day and being around these guys and being a part of it.
You said in your press conference, you and your coaching staff, you guys don't mention Big 12 championship game. You don't mention college football playoffs. You haven't mentioned bowl games. But you realize the entire TCU community, not just the student body,
Yeah.
but everybody that bleeds purple,
Yeah.
right now is on a magical ride along with you.
Yep.
How much have you enjoyed seeing that aspect?
Well, that part's been fun. I mean, when you walk into a stadium that's been pretty much sold out almost every week, it's, you feel it then. In a weird sort of way, we kind of insulate ourselves here in the football office, and we don't really kind of know what's going on out there too much. Our players probably are around the student body a little bit more, and they probably hear things and see things more than we do. But yeah, every Saturday we walk out, and the fans have been incredible. I know, I'll take my kids to school on Monday morning, and I stop at Starbucks and get coffee. And, nobody knew who I was about the first 5 weeks of the season. Now people know who I am at Starbucks. And that's been a little bit of a challenge. But you know how it is. I mean, that's just kind of the way this stuff goes. And it's been exciting, though. And this is such a great community. I mean, the student body's fantastic. The alumni, the people in Fort Worth are really incredibly supportive of TCU, and that part's been a lot of fun, and it's been, as you said, very kind of inspiring and invigorating.
And now there's no more Smalls. It's Grande. It's a Grande at Starbucks for Coach now. Coach, when you think about the history of TCU, it's not like TCU is a stranger to having prominent
for sure.
alumni.
Yeah, for sure.
Whether it's Davey O'Brien, whether it's Bob Lilly, whether it's LaDainian Tomlinson, whether it's Andy Dalton, TCU is no stranger to having prominent alumni, but at the same time, when it comes to the national landscape, people aren't used to hearing the name TCU
Yeah.
in combination with Georgia, in
Yeah.
combination with Michigan and some of the other traditional powerhouses. Can TCU, under your leadership, be the type of program where we start to hear that name, not just this year,
Yeah.
but going forward?
Well, I think first of all you gotta say it's been there. I mean, I think Coach Patterson, when he was here, Gary had such a great run, and TCU was a top 10 program pretty much year in, year out for almost a decade. So they've had a lot of success around here in the past. The college football playoff is much more accessible, I think, than it has been in the past. I think everybody knows what happened to TCU in 2014. I think they're number 3 in the BCS at that time. They have a 52-point win and dropped to number 6 or 7, whatever it was. And so, it hadn't always gone TCU's way. Certainly did in 2014, but I do think it's a different college football landscape. I think there is more access to the playoff. I think there's the committee, I think, has more respect for brands like TCU, and I think has more respect for the Big 12. And so I do believe that it's a perfect opportunity and a perfect time for us to kind of get on a run like this, because we do have that access these days, and if we can finish the season the right way and have a chance to get in the college football playoff, then we can go, as you said, play against those big brands that everybody knows and see how we stack up and where we belong. And so our guys are just excited about playing against a really good Kansas State team. They welcome all challenges. It's a group that really has been incredibly focused, hasn't gotten caught up in too much of the the good talk and the bad talk in the preseason. You know, we were picked 7th in the league when the season started, and they ignored that, I think, just like they're ignoring some of the success they have now. So it's a focus group, but we like challenges, and we're, I don't think afraid to play anybody. So, hopefully we'll go out and play well Saturday and see where that takes us.
Coach, how can you explain your demeanor now as opposed to your demeanor, let's say, when Kell hits the field goal as time expires?
Yeah.
Right into that TCU section in Waco.
Well, I mean, that was a struggle. I mean, Baylor did a great job of getting ready to play us, and they played really well in that game, and took everything we had to figure out how to win the game. And got to give our players a ton of credit. Guys stepped up in critical situations and made plays, and I think that we do have a lot of confidence. So I think this team believes in each other, and they like each other, and they want to take care of each other and win for each other, and it makes it a lot of fun. And I think our guys felt like that Griffin would make the kick, and I don't think anybody was surprised the way the events unfolded, because our guys just have that confidence, and had done it so many times in practice, and those guys had seen that same kick happen 15 times before it happened in the game, where they just kind of expected it to happen. And I think that's the cool thing about this team is they love to practice, they carry over what they learn in practice to the games, and it allows us to play well.
When people say TCU is the best story in college football, you say what?
Well, I can certainly understand why. I think a lot of it, kind of a smaller brand, didn't have a ton of success last year, and here we are 12-0, and I think that part's doesn't happen that often in college football. When you look at the conference championships, it has a tendency to be the same teams, year in, year out, and same big brands and the same historical brands, playing in those games. And if you look at the Big 12, I mean, Oklahoma's been in there a bunch, and everybody else has been in there a little bit. And so, it's no Oklahoma, it's Kansas State, and it's us. And so I think it's something different, and our players are excited about it, our fans are excited about it, and I think that's good for college football. I think the more parity we have in the game, I think the better and stronger the game is.
But Coach, can you feel this entire area? I mean, in terms of the excitement that your program has generated?
I can feel it at Starbucks. That's about my litmus test. I mean, it's this time of the year we don't get out and do much. It's just kind of either work or chasing kids around. So occasional trip to Starbucks, and that's about as good as it gets for us. But yeah, I mean, I think you get that sense. I mean, talking to people in the community and fans and supporters, and you do feel the excitement and the optimism, and I think they have an appreciation for how difficult it is to do this. And but again, our players just keep showing up, keep working, and stay focused, and that's what we got to do as coaches as well.
As you look at your entire body of coaching work, can you even at this point, I know this chapter is unwritten, it's unfinished.
Yep.
But can you even start to compartmentalize where this chapter in this season rates in your coaching career?
Yeah. I mean, I certainly, we've been on some runs. I think at La Tech over a 2-year period, I think we won 16 out of 17, regular season games. Got off to a really good start one year at Cal and kind of faltered down the stretch, and did so at SMU a couple of times where we started strong and couldn't finish. This team's been a little bit different, though. I think that we've had enough depth and enough talent here to kind of carry us through some of those lulls that you might have during the season. We've gotten some guys banged up, and we've been able to replace them with guys that have come in and picked up the slack and done it in a great way. And so this team is deep, and it's talented, but it has been unique, and it has been a lot of fun. And I think the biggest thing that they have is they just believe. They just believe in each other, and they believe in the team, and they believe in our program. And when you have that true belief and that confidence that really comes from preparation, anything's possible.
You talked about your adjustment. It couldn't have been a smoother adjustment with your wife and your 2 daughters. Coach, you are no stranger to a coaching tree.
Yep.
When you think about your late father and you think about the legend he was on the sidelines, how much do you take the sideline in honor of him each and every game?
Well, I think obviously he's been the biggest influence on my life. And my dad was really, really good at relationships. And, for me, I had an opportunity, when he passed, to see, the impact he made on players and how meaningful it really was. I think sometimes as coaches, everybody talks about, the impact they make and how they try to make a difference and all those things. But it was really pretty eye-opening to me just how much he meant to those former players of his and all the true contributions he made to their lives. And I think for me, it let me know that the wins and losses are very, very important, and they're how we get judged in our profession. But at the same time, our job's to make sure that people leave our program better than they came in. And at the end of the day, if our guys can consistently do that, and they can be better men and better fathers and better husbands, and better in the community and serve others, once they leave TCU, then we've done our job. And obviously we want to win football games along the way. It certainly makes it more fun, and I get to stick around longer if we do that. But at the end of the day, that's the biggest takeaway, from my father, was just how much he meant to people and how important those relationships with players are, because, that's what lasts. The winning kind of goes away and the trophy tarnishes and all that, but the life experiences and the friendships and the influence last forever.
What was the biggest piece of advice he gave you as it pertained to coaching young men and grown men? And what do you imagine his advice would be for you in this moment?
Yeah, I think, the biggest thing I think is just to understand, that everybody's got a different perspective. The one thing he used to tell me all the time was, don't judge anybody until you walk a mile in their shoes. And that was the one thing that he really believed in, is, his perspective may be different than somebody else's. And everybody views the world and situations in a different way, and you have to try to see it from their point of view to understand why they see it that way. And I think that was one of the things I really learned from him, was and when you do that, I think it makes you much more measured in how you deal with people, and makes you more willing to and eager to find out, okay, what motivates this person, and why do they believe this, and why do they see things this way? And those are questions I try to ask our players all the time. Why do you think this, and why is this important to you, and why is this not? And so I get to learn so much from our players all the time, and I think I learn much more than I teach them. And I think the thing that he would probably tell me is just enjoy it. You know what I mean? Enjoy the game. We've worked hard to get there. It's a great opportunity. It's a reward for the players, and just go out there and do your best and take it all in and enjoy it.
And lastly, Sonny, as this season comes to a close, whether it's on New Year's Eve, whether it's a couple weeks after that, we are all hoping that it is in the grand finale.
Mm-hmm.
However this season, comes to a close, how do you stay so grounded in the sense that the spotlight is clearly on you? Everyone is looking at Coach Sonny Dykes and this team that now has a potential chance to compete for a national title. How have you stayed so grounded?
Well, I think you learn from your failures. My first year at Cal, I was 1-11 as a head coach, and I'm the same head coach I was then that I am now. You know what I mean? And I think that I worked just as hard on that 1-11 team that I have on this 12-0 team. My next year we had a 5-win team at Cal, and I always felt like that was probably the best coaching job I've ever done in my life, just because we were trying to build the program, we were trying to get some confidence, and so you just got to understand that, look, every day's a journey and every day's a battle, and your job is to do the very best you can with the situation you have. And I'm really blessed and fortunate to be at TCU, where we've got really good players, we've got a lot of support, we've got tremendous resources, and so, and we're having some success. And, when you win, I've always believed it's because of the players, and when you lose, it's because of the coaches. And I think that's just the way it is. And so it's really a credit to our players and the way that they have performed, and their, again, preparation and confidence and belief in each other. And these guys play hard, and they enjoy it, and they play for each other. And I just try not to screw it up too bad. That's kind of my job, is to get those guys ready to play on Saturday and turn them loose and let them go play, and then try to figure it out as we go along.
Well, Coach, you brought a lot of joy to this region, and I know you're going to bring, and you and your guys are going to bring a lot more. So thank you.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, man. Appreciate you. Okay. Thanks.